I am not going to lie, I cried for 3 weeks after Winter House, Lindsay Hubbard confesses to ET. I came home and cried pretty much every day for 3 weeks. Nearly a year after filming an extended cameo on the Vermont-set spinoff, the Summer House star is still processing everything that went down with her housemates, thanks in large part to the fact that what they filmed is now airing on TV. Those tears, though, are specific to Jason Cameron, the model with whom Lindsay sparked up a vacation romance on season 1. That trickled into the real world, back in New York City, where Lindsay ultimately got pregnant, only to lose that pregnancy in a miscarriage soon after learning about it. It's part of her life she opened up about on season 6 of Summer House, apparently much to Jason's chagrin. He confronts her for taking private details public on Thursday's episode of Winter House. That was very difficult, Lindsay says of the conversation. Going into Winter House, I was like, oh, it'll be nice to see Jason. I haven't seen him in a while. But I was not at all prepared for that conversation. When he says, you went public with it. What he means is, you told your story on Summer House, right? But without breaking the fourth wall, you know, he said, you went public with it. The problem I have with that is, I was very clear with Jason that I would be sharing it, and that was before we started filming Summer House Season 6, she continues. So, I was very clear with Jason. We had an entire conversation with me about it, and on top of that, what's even crazier is, that he and I filmed an actual conversation in my apartment for Summer House Season 6. It wound up getting cut. It was on the chopping block, didn't make it to the final edit. So for him to say, oh, you didn't tell me you're going public with it. I am sitting there like, what on earth are you talking about? I actually filmed an entire conversation with you on my couch. And now you're bringing this up as if I am in the wrong for not telling you that this was going to be on TV when you filmed on TV. I also don't know if he's, like, fully aware of the process, she adds, speaking to the press cycle she's become accustomed to after nearly a decade on reality TV. My miscarriage wound up on the premiere episode, episode 1 of season 6 of Summer House, right? So, as all the media sees it, they ask questions about it. I answer those questions, those articles run, and I don't know if he understands that that's how it works. As those words spill out of her mouth, though, Lindsay starts to doubt her logic, realizing Jason went through a press run of his own for season 1 of Winter House. Okay, so either you have extreme amnesia, because we actually did have this conversation and we then also filmed a conversation, so there are 2 examples now that I am giving you where you were very aware that this was going to be public, she rattles off, so why are you bringing this up? Because for him to bring that up to then make me feel guilty about something that I didn't even do was very heart-wrenching for me. I have to live with this trauma, this tragic thing that happened to me, she says. I have to live with that for the rest of my life, and, at the very end of the day, I was like, but at least it happened with this nice guy, right? At least it was this super nice guy that it happened with, and then after he kind of approached me and created this narrative of something that I didn't do just so he could get it off his chest because he forgot the multiple times that he was aware it was going to be public, it really changed my opinion of him, honestly. Lindsay says she'll never look at Jason the same after how he handled the situation, adding that it changed my entire opinion of him. It's a very sensitive situation, and everyone handles it differently, but and I am doing the best that I can, she notes. It was my decision to be very public about it, and I am proud of that decision. I am proud of all of those women I helped by me being public with my miscarriage, and he didn't even talk about that. He didn't even approach me and say, hey Linz, how are you doing? I haven't spoken to you in a little while. Like, it's around the 9-month time. We would have had a baby by now. Like, it was straight into, I have to get this off my chest. You went public. You didn't tell me. And I am like, whoa, 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 whoa. What? I did tell you. Then there's Lindsay's drama with Southern Charm star Austin Kroll. Her one-time bestie, friend with benefits dropped a bit of a bomb on the house the night before Lindsay arrived, alongside her now fiancé, Carl Radke. He claims Lindsay made a sexual advance on him the night of co-stars Kyle Cook and Amanda Batula's wedding in September, which would be the same day the cast believes Lindsay and Carl started dating. However, Lindsay and Carl have a different timeline. Neither Carl nor I went around telling people that we were like dating, she explains, pointing out that the announcement the group keeps pointing to was actually made by Maya Allen, who was making an assumption after Carl and Lindsay chatted about their feelings for one another on camera. She's like, word on the street is, Lindsay and Carl are giving it a go. We were not the ones going around saying that, Lindsay declares. We did have a conversation at the wedding, but that conversation was basically like, hey, I am developing feelings for you that are stronger than friendship. Me too, but, like, we don't really know where to go from here. And should we be going there? So let's figure it out, right? And that's how that conversation went. I mean, it's literally filmed and on camera for all of us to see. Lindsay fully denies Austin's account of that night, recalling a scramble to find late-night food and ultimately passing out once it arrived to Austin's room. As for why she didn't spend the night with Carl, Lindsay reveals that he was actually staying at a different hotel than the wedding guests. He actually brought literally all of us back to the hotel, dropped us off, and went back to his hotel that night, she shares. So, that's why he wasn't around that night. I mean, listen, I am such a sex-positive person, and have always been very forthcoming and open about my sexuality, and who I've done what with, she goes on to note, but it's just not my style. He's basically saying, you know, in the middle of the night I somehow rolled over and touched his DK. I don't even know what he's saying. And to be honest, I just watched the episode. I don't even think he believes what he's saying. It's up there with, like the psychic said I hooked up with Luke, she says, calling back to some drama from Summer House's 5th season, where then castmate Hannah Berner claimed a psychic medium believed Lindsay to have slept with Hannah and co-star Sierra Miller's one-time joint love interest, Luke Gobranson, who actually called Lindsay mid-interview to seemingly download her on his BravoCon sparked romance with the Real Housewives of Potomac's Ashley Darby. I am like, really, guys? We're doing this again? She cracks. I mean, whatever. I guess they needed something to talk about. While Lindsay's doesn't know for sure why Austin brought up this version of events, she has her suspicions. I am not going to be embarrassed by something that didn't happen, she says. I think Austin, especially watching it back, it appears to me that he kind of wanted to impress the girls. I think he was in hot water again with Sierra by asking to invite his then-girlfriend Olivia Flowers to the house. I think he wanted to sort of get in better standing with her, specifically, and it was just like, oh well, you know, let me use this to try to get back in with Sierra and the girls. Listen, Austin, I've learned throughout the many years of knowing him that he thrives on drama, she continues. At this point, I just like joke around with him, because there's no point in getting mad. I've been down this road one too many times with him to get mad anymore. I texted him the other day, and I was like, are we gonna get in another public year-long fight, or what? Lindsay's referring to her and Austin's major falling out, sparked by a fateful appearance on Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen, when Season 1 of Winter House aired. Austin was a guest, Lindsay was in the audience, and things took an awkward turn during a game in which Austin had to choose between Lindsay and Sierra, whom he started dating while filming Season 1 of Winter House. Austin ultimately chose Sierra over Lindsay in almost every category, despite the fact that Lindsay was just feet away from him. The two didn't speak after that night until Lindsay showed up at Winter House. "That was a solid, 5 months maybe," she says. "I think that space was really good for both of us to enter into any sort of conversation with a clear mind, because honestly, up until that point I probably would not have accepted an apology." Lindsay says she and Austin are in a fine place now. They'll never be as close as they once were, but she pins that less on their drama and more on shifting priorities in each of their lives. Falling in love with Carl, getting engaged and now planning a wedding has seemingly changed her outlook on all her relationships. The couple is in the early stages of locking down wedding details, though they hope to tie the knot next fall. As for who will make it on the guest list from their cast, that's a bit of a question mark. Lindsay had some sort of falling out with best friend Danielle Oliveira over the course of filming Summer House Season 7, returning to Bravo later this winter. She says their status has not changed since BravoCon in October, where they addressed the feud for the first time, and is now on not-so-great terms with Amanda, after she claimed Lindsay is rude to fans on Watch What Happens Live. Lindsay fired back at that claim in a series of Instagram stories, which she quickly removed, showing how often she carves out time to go to fan events, many curated by Amanda, Kyle and Carl's company, Loverboy. "I think there is always a reevaluating period each season," Lindsay says of her friendships. "You sort of have to reevaluate and figure out like, okay, I am going to put this one in this category now and stop thinking that there is an actual friendship here, or whatever the case is, you know. Like, if I was still talking to Austin all the time and confiding in him, and he is out there like doing these things, that would be so dumb of me, right?" She adds. "Same with like the girls, if they are saying nasty things about me, or taking shots at my character, then yeah, maybe that's not my real friend." Lindsay says she's much more affected by shots at her character than attacks on her appearance, a topic that came up when she arrived in Vermont, because the entire cast seemed to agree that newcomer Jessica Stocker bears a striking resemblance to Lindsay. However, Jessica didn't see that as a compliment, saying Lindsay, who's about a decade older, looked like she could be her mom, not her sister. Jessica confessed to Craig Conover that she didn't find Lindsay cute, to which Craig, Austin's bestie, agreed, adding that it wasn't a compliment to be compared to Lindsay. "I was like, dude, this girl said she wanted compliments," Lindsay says. "I think it's quite a compliment to be compared to me, not even just for my physical appearance. I have a pretty fun personality. She should have taken it as a compliment. I don't really get upset if somebody kind of slams, or disses, my looks or appearance. That doesn't upset me. I am like, oh, okay. Good one, you know. Like I have a pretty solid self-confidence. So I just don't care. It just never bothers me." Winter House airs Thursdays at 9 p.m. ET on Bravo. Paige DeSorbo and Sierra Miller spill on Winter House Season 2 and relationship shifts. Exclusive. This video is unavailable because we were unable to load a message from our sponsors. If you are using ad blocking software, please disable it.